Gwe Agpijlazi. There we go. Just did the whole introduction with my mic on mute. That's the way it goes sometimes. We begin by acknowledging very quickly that Susan McEacher Memorial Ball Field and all of the Cape Breton Regional Municipality lie within the ancestral unceded territory of Mi'kma'ki, Cape Breton Island itself, known as Unama'ki. And we have for you this afternoon the 2022 Men's Baseball Canada Championship Bronze Medal Game between the Elmwood Giants and the Charlottetown Islanders. Giants and Islanders playing for the bronze medal, and it's going to be the Giants up first. Leading off, it's the catcher Nathan Christuk. Batting second will be the shortstop Garrett Popplestone, and the first pitch to Christuk is a called first strike. And so we are underway here in Sydney. We'll take you through the rest of the batting order here. Steve Pritchard will play left field and bat third. Chris Norquay will bat fourth and play right field. Kyle Armstrong, the DH, bats fifth. Justin Voth, the third baseman, batting sixth. That one just foul, as it just goes over the outside of the third base bag. Brett Boudreau will play first base and bat seventh. Chris Moffat will play center field, batting eighth. Colton Boudreau, the second baseman, bats ninth. And Brian McIntyre will start on the mound for Elmwood. The Giants will be hitting into the defense of Charlottetown that has Grant Grady in left field, Taylor Larkin in center, and Josh Myers in right, the exact same alignment that they had for the semifinal game earlier this afternoon. The infield looks a little bit different. The corners are the same. Mark Phillips is over at third while Blake Gallagher is at first. But the middle infield, Justin Cormier moves from second base to shortstop. Ryan McIsaac moves from DH to second base. And Logan McDougall, who was playing shortstop, moves to the DH position. So the three of them just rotate through as Chris Duke, able to get a ball through the left side of the infield for a leadoff single. And that'll bring up Garrett Popplestone. Popplestone in this morning's semifinal went 1 for 3. Chris Duke went 0 for 3, so that's his first hit of the day. A very similar batting order for Elmwood. The one change, Dan Carter comes out of the lineup, so Pritchard moves up from the 6th spot into 3. Justin Voth, who comes in to play third base for Dan Carter, will fill the 6th spot where Pritchard was. A couple of strikes there to Popplestone, as McLean gets Popplestone to ground to Cormier, over to McIsaac for one, to Gallagher in time for the 6-4-3 double play. Nicely turned by the defense of the Islanders. Speaking of that defense, I didn't finish the defensive alignment for Charlottetown. Logan Gallant remains behind the plate, and today's starting pitcher is Tanner McLean. So McLean gave up that single to start things off, but it's the single canceled out by the double play. And there's a first pitch strike to Steve Pritchard. As we mentioned, Pritchard was in the 6th spot in this morning's game. He went 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. Elmwood playing in the 10 a.m. semifinal, so they've had a little bit more time to wrap their head around the fact that they're now in the bronze medal game. The Islanders only got off the field losing their semifinal a little over about an hour and a half ago, thereabouts. Pritchard takes a swing and misses at that one, and the count now 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 3. So a leadoff single canceled out by the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played half an inning and no score between Elmwood and Charlottetown. We'll head to the bottom of the first, taking a look at the Charlottetown Islander batting order. And it does look very similar to what it looked like earlier this afternoon in their semifinal against Dartmouth. In fact, it's identical. The only difference is the defensive positions that a few players are playing. So Justin Cormier will continue to lead off. As we mentioned when we set the defensive alignment, he's playing short for this game instead of second base. Ryan McIsaac, who DH'd earlier this afternoon, will play second base and continue to bat second. Logan McDougall still batting in the third spot, just he's now DHing instead of shortstop. The rest of the lineup exactly the same. It is Mark Phillips, the third baseman, Grant Grady, the left fielder, and Blake Gallagher, the first baseman, who are the middle third. And then batting seventh is catcher Logan Gallant, batting eighth, right fielder Josh Myers, and batting ninth is center fielder Taylor Larkin. And they are going to be trying to put up some offense in support of Tanner McLean, their starting pitcher. And they'll be hitting into the Elmwood defense that continues to see Steve Pritchard in left, Chris Moffat in center, and Chris Norquay in right. The only difference at third base, it's Justin Voth in this game instead of Dan Carter. Then the rest of the way around the infield stays the same. Shortstop Garrett Popplestone, Colton Boudreau at second, and Brett Boudreau. The Boudreau brothers continue to be on the right side of the infield. Nathan Christuk is still behind the plate, and the starting pitcher for this one for Elmwood, getting ready to throw his first pitch of the game, right-hander Brian McIntyre, as Justin Cormier steps up. Cormier went 0 for 2 with a walk in the semifinal, but quickly takes the first pitch and sends it right back up through the middle for a leadoff single. That'll bring up Ryan McIsaac. He was 0 for 2 in this afternoon's semifinal loss to Dartmouth. He popped out, walked, and reached on an error in his 3 plate appearances this afternoon. The Islanders went 3-0 through pool play, didn't give up a run. Runner going, throw down to second, not in time, as Cormier, going on the first pitch, gets the steal. The Islanders with a 10-0 victory over Kamloops, a 1-0 victory over Sydney, and then a 5-0 victory over the St. John's Capitals. That got them a bye directly into the semifinals. But they, after winning 3 games by way of the shutout, they end up losing a game by way of a shutout, falling 5-0 to Dartmouth in that semifinal game earlier this afternoon, which brings them to this bronze medal game. For the Elmwood Giants, they went 1-2 through pool play, finishing third. There's a swing and a foul tip off the stick of Ryan McIsaac, or off the bat of Ryan McIsaac, making the count 1-2. Elmwood went 1-2 through the round robin. They earned a 1-0 victory over the team out of Dartmouth, the Mooseheads, on the opening game here at Susan McEachern Memorial Ballfield. Then their next game was a 5-1 loss to the Edmonton Cubs. They finished off the round robin with a 9-2 loss to Windsor, which brought them into the quarterfinals as the number 3 seed in their pool. They were able to squeak out a 4-3 victory in 11 innings over the Kamloops Sun Devils in that quarterfinal last night. And then this morning, Windsor able to dominate, putting up an 11-1 victory to put Elmwood into this bronze medal game. And so the Islanders start with a hit and a walk to put 2 on with nobody out. That brings up Logan McDougall. McDougall DHing in this game. Earlier this afternoon, he went 0 for 3 with a single, or 1 for 3 with a single, excuse me. As Laura Renault, I saw your message. If you are watching this, I completely missed what happened there because I was dealing with a message from a viewer indicating. All right, so McDougall. Cormier advanced to third on the passed ball. Kaizek advanced to second on the same pitch. Okay. So then that put runners at, right now there's a runner on first. And now batting is Mark Phillips, I think. Yes, it's Mark Phillips now up to bat. Okay, so McDougall grounds into a fielder's choice. Popplestone to Voth. McIsaac out trying to get to third. McDougall reaches on the fielder's choice. Cormier comes in to score. So my apologies, folks. Charlottetown does now have a run. There's an out. Runner now at second base on a stolen base. And it's a strikeout to Phillips while McDougall gets to second on the steal. And that'll bring up Grant Grady. All right, sorry about that, folks. Like I said, I was dealing with an... So McDougall gets an RBI for driving in Cormier on the fielder's choice. McDougall now at second base with 2 away, and Charlottetown leading at 1-0. And if every game that Charlottetown played so far has been a shutout, they've won 3 by a shutout, and they've lost 1 getting shut out themselves. If it is first run wins, well then, although don't tell Elmwood that, there's still lots of game left here for the bronze medal. That one misses outside, and 1-1, excuse me, the count now to Grant Grady. And there's a walk to Grady, so that puts runners at first and second with 2 out. And Lee brings Blake Gallagher to the plate. Runner going. Both runners going as the ball gets away from Chris Duke, and that will allow runners to get to second and third. So 2 in scoring position with Gallagher up. Gallagher in the game earlier today went 0 for 3. That pitch misses high, and the count goes to 2-0 on Gallagher. With Grady at second, McDougall at third, here in the bottom of the first inning. There's a called strike, and the count 3-1, excuse me. Grounder over to the third baseman, throw across the diamond in time for out number 3, but not before the Islanders get a run. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. No errors, and 2 runners left on base. We played 1 complete, and it is the Charlottetown Islanders leading by a score of 1-0. In and going to the top of the second, we'll have Chris Norquay, Kyle Armstrong, and Justin Voth coming up to bat for the Elmwood Giants.
Batting for Elmwood, number 42, the right fielder, Chris Norquay. Batting for Elmwood, number 9, the designated hitter, Kyle Armstrong.
I work for you have the ball?
Now batting for Elmwood, number 26, third baseman, Justin Bob. Pitch count for Tanner McLean following the second inning is 24. Recapping the top of the second for Elmwood, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. Score after two is Charlottetown 1, Elmwood 0. Also a reminder, all the canteens are open. You can get hot dogs, burgers, and over there as well. There's also a beer tent. Get your beer tickets, take your beer to the stands, and all that's located.
Sorry about that, folks. I was just doing all of the play-by-play with my mic muted. We were having some technical issues getting the stream up and running, so I muted my mic while I was helping to fix that. And then once we got the stream up and running, I didn't turn my mic back on. So just a couple of quick notes. Okay. So it is now up and running. And you can rewind to watch what you missed. There we go. So yes, the feed is up and running, and you can go back, rewind, watch what you missed. I'm sorry that the play-by-play wasn't there for a good chunk of it, but that's because I just didn't turn my mic back on. Okay. So here we go. Problem solved. We are up and running. You are able to rewind and watch what you missed. Sorry, I'm trying to get this typed in so that people know it through the Facebook posts and through Twitter and everything else. Meanwhile, Josh Myers is standing at the plate. And Myers down in the count 0-1. Myers in the semifinal game went 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. This time he sends the ball deep into straightaway center field, and Moffat has to go all the way back to the warning track and makes the catch just a little bit to the left of the 355 sign in dead straightaway center. It's 340 to each of the gaps and 325 down each of the foul lines here at Susan McEachern Memorial Ballpark. That brings up Taylor Larkin. Larkin, the center fielder, went 0 for 2 this afternoon in the semifinal. Takes the first pitch for a strike in the count 0-1. We are in the bottom of the second inning in this bronze medal game. The Islanders scored 1 run in the bottom of the first. Elmwood twice has gotten a runner on base. In the first inning, it was a single, and then a 6-4-3 double play. Retired Chris Duke, who got that single. Then in the second inning, Armstrong walked, but he was taken out on a 4-6-3 double play. So the Giants have brought the minimum number of batters up to plate in this game so far through the first 2 innings. No runs on 1 hit for Elmwood. 1 run on 1 hit for the Islanders, as they had a hit, a single and 2 walks in that first inning. And the 1 runner coming around to score. Taylor Larkin up to bat now. He's ahead in the count 2-1. Sorry, there was a foul there, so it should be 2-2. There we go. And a called third strike, second K of the afternoon for the Elmwood pitcher Brian McIntyre. And that will bring us back around to the top of the order for Justin Cormier. Cormier singled to lead off the bottom of the first, and he is the runner who did come around to score that 1 run in that first inning. Takes the first pitch, strike right at the knees, and the count 0-1. And I want to thank everybody who was sending me messages and letting me know about the issues that were existing. We really appreciate that. It lets us know a couple of things. One, that you guys are indeed watching. And 2, that issues do arrive. He didn't swing on that one, and so the count now goes to 1-1. Beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Sydney, Nova Scotia at the Susan McEachern Memorial Ballpark. Cormier takes a strike there, and the count goes to 1-2. Or 2-2, excuse me. That one high in the air, left side of the infield. Calling for it is Popplestone, and he'll make the catch just on the outfield grass. And so that'll be a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Islanders. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We've played 2 complete. We'll go to the 3rd with the Charlottetown Islanders leading the Elmwood Giants by a score of 1-0. Due up in the top of the 3rd, it'll be the top of the order. Brett Boudreau, Chris Moffat, it'll be the bottom 3rd of the order. Brett Boudreau, Chris Moffat, and Colton Boudreau. And we want to once again remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be interactive with us, like several people have been as we were getting things fixed up, you can do so by sending us a message either through Twitter or through Facebook. There you see the Twitter feed at PetterPC_sports. That's PETTERPC_sports. You can also reach us through Facebook, facebook.com/PetterSports. Because we here at Petter Sports and Streaming Services love to have our broadcasts be interactive. We love chatting with you, the fans. If you have a comment, you have a question, you have a criticism, as long as it's not too mean. Certainly appreciate that, and we'll try to get that on air for you. If you do have a shout out you want to send to a player, anything along those lines. We get ready for the top of the 3rd inning here with Tanner McLean out on the mound still. He's faced the minimum number of batters, even though he has given up 1 hit and 1 walk. He's been able to get hitters to ground into a pair of double plays. Cormier and McIsaac, the middle infielders, turning a pair of double plays already, a 4.63 and a 6.43. That brings up Brett Boudreau. He, in the semi-final earlier today, he went 1 for 3 with a single, a walk, and an RBI. As that pitch misses outside, ball 1. Boudreau drove in the only run that Elmwood scored in that game this morning, as Windsor continues to fire on all cylinders. They've now gone 4-0 through their first 4 games, and will have a chance to finish off with a perfect weekend and the national championship when they take on Dartmouth later this evening. High fly ball out into shallow right field. Myers doesn't have to go very far for that one, and camps out underneath it for the first out. That'll bring up Chris Moffat. Moffat in the semifinal went 0 for 2. He also reached base getting hit by a pitch in 1 plate appearance. Again, Elmwood went through the round robin with a 1-2 record, and then in the quarterfinals earned a thrilling victory over Kamloops. Long, deep fly ball out to center field, but Larkin there to make the catch. That'll bring up Colton Boudreau. Boudreau 0 for 2 in the semifinal game against Windsor, struck out twice. We mentioned Elmwood, that 11-inning 4-3 victory over Kamloops in the quarterfinal. That booked them that spot against Windsor in the semi this morning. But the juggernaut that is the Windsor Stars getting the 11-1 victory in just 6 innings. Pitch misses low, ball 1, 1-1. For Charlottetown, they went through the round robin 3-0, earning shutout victories over all 3 of their opponents. The Sydney Sooners, it was a 1-0 victory over the Kamloops Sun Devils. They won 10-0, and over the St. John's Capitals, it was a 5-0 win. Grounder down to third. Phillips gathers it up and throwing, and gets the ball across the diamond in time for a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of 3 with Charlottetown leading it 1-0. And due up in the bottom of the third, it'll be Ryan McIsaac, Logan McDougall, and Mark Phillips, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Islanders. We mentioned that the Islanders went through pool play, shutting out all of their opponents, and then they got shut out themselves by Dartmouth by a score of 5-0 in the semifinal earlier this afternoon. And so they end up falling down into the bronze medal game. So we are into the bottom of the third here in Sydney, as Charlottetown plays against Elmwood. The national championship game I see what I did. Okay. All right. So that's G5, F8. That's the strikeout. And that's an F6. So, yes, I apologize. Cormier now coming up to bat to lead off the top of the third, or bottom of the third. So it's the 1, 2, and 3 batters, not the 2, 3, and 4 batters. I had a mistake on my score sheet. And thankfully nobody can see it because it's a mess now. Justin Cormier leading off. And there's a strike. Thank you, Muriel Cormier from Moncton, letting me know that I was off by a batter. And I've got people sending me messages left, right, and center, and I'm trying to... Okay, so that was a ground out. Cormier for the first out of the bottom of the third. That brings up Ryan McIsaac. Cormier grounded out to Popplestone. Okay, that's what happened there. First pitch swinging and sends that ball out into right field. That'll be a one-out single for McIsaac, his second time reaching base this afternoon as he walked his first plate appearance. And that'll bring up Logan McDougall. He's 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice RBI. Drove in Justin Cormier back in the first inning. He reached on the fielder's choice, but the one out was made, so he is technically 0 for 1. And takes a first pitch strike from Brian McIntyre. Runner going. Pitch misses down and outside. And Chris Duke not able to get up and deliver the throw as he sort of double clutched when he first caught the ball. So runner gets down to second base on the steal. That one looped into center, into right. It'll drop in front of Norquay. And McIsaac had to wait just a second to see if Norquay would get to that ball, so not able to advance further than third base. That brings up Mark Phillips, the third baseman. He struck out his first time up back in the first. Runner from first base going, swing and a miss by Phillips, and no throw down either by design or by the fact that, again, Chris Duke had a little trouble getting the ball gathered in. This pitch misses low, 1-1 the count. So now runners at second and third with one out. There we go. That one misses in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-1. That one misses low, and it's 3-1. Bottom of the third inning here, the bronze medal game at the 2022 Baseball Canada Men's National Championships. Grounder right up the middle to Boudreau, Colton Boudreau. Looks McIsaac back to third and then is able to get the ball over to Brett Boudreau for the second out of the inning. That brings up Grant Grady. He walked back in the first inning. Grady looking to cash in on the two singles from his teammates Ryan McIsaac and Logan McDougall. First pitch misses outside. That one launched out into center field. 2 runs will come in and score. And the Islanders now ahead 3-0 on the 2 RBI single by Grant Grady. And that'll bring up Blake Gallagher. Throw down to second on the steal attempt, and getting in safely is Grady. The pitch to Gallagher was called a ball, I do believe. That one will get through the left side of the infield. Grady turning around third. He'll come in to score. So Gallagher gets an RBI. And swung on and missed there by Logan Gallant, so 0-1 the count as the Charlottetown Islanders now lead 4-0 here in the bottom of the third inning. That one misses outside. Runner going, throw down to second, and the Islanders continue to be able to steal pretty much at will, as they've picked up something on Brian McIntyre's delivery that they're able to get great jumps. The count to Gallant, 1-1. That one will miss outside, and it's now 2-1. As Gallagher now stands in scoring position at second base. The Islanders aggressive on the base paths. That one fouled off, and the count goes 2-2. And that aggressiveness is paying off with a 4-0 lead. 3 runs already in this inning. And a runner now in scoring position. Chopped to the third baseman, Voth. Throw across the diamond. Boudreau not able to scoop it out. Gallant may have been able to beat it out anyway, but we'll see how they call that. That'll bring up Josh Myers. He struck out his first time up. I think Gallant was going to beat the throw regardless, but we'll wait and see what our official scorer has to say. Gallagher made it to third on the play. They are calling it an error. They're calling it a throwing error by Voth, so runners now on first and third. And Josh Myers up to the plate. Myers struck out looking his first time up. And takes that one low, and the count now, I believe, 2-0. That one misses outside, and okay, apparently it was already 3-0 because that walk loads the bases. And that'll bring up Taylor Larkin, the center fielder. But before we get Larkin up to bat, we're going to get a pitching change. And that's going to do it for Brian McIntyre, and Anthony Friesen will come in relief. So while Friesen warms up, we can tell you that Friesen has pitched at least a couple of times. He pitched last night in the quarterfinal, coming in and throwing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/3 innings last night. No, he didn't. He didn't throw 7 1/3 innings because he was replaced. Where did that second pitching change take place? I missed it. But he did come in and pitch in the quarterfinal last night. He also pitched in the game against Windsor in the round robin, where he threw 2 innings in that one. This time he comes in with the bases loaded and 2 away here in the third. And Charlottetown already with 4 runs on the board. First pitch to Larkin, in for a looping strike. Larkin, as we mentioned, popped out to short his first time up. Another big breaking ball, but that one ends up missing, and the count goes 1-1. That one will get through the left side of the infield. 1 run will score, and everybody will just go station to station It's now 5-0, and the bases are still loaded. And we'll get back around to the top of the order. Justin Cormier up for the second time this inning. He grounded out to short to start this inning. He also singled and scored back in the first. As the Charlottetown Goody Auto Body Islanders have batted around here in the bottom of the third inning, breaking this game wide open, leading 5-0 now. There's another strike, and the count goes 0-2 on Cormier. Reaching and getting a piece of that ball to stay alive as the count remains 0-2. Swung on and missed, and that is the third out. But the Islanders add to their lead. They get 4 runs on 5 hits. There was 1 error and the bases left loaded. So through 3 complete, it's now Charlottetown 5, Elmwood 0. Due up in the top of the fourth, it's the top of the order. Nathan Christuk, Garrett Popplestone, and Steve Pritchard for the Elmwood Giants. As we again remind you that we still got one more game left after this one. At 7:30, it'll be the big one for the gold medal, the right to call yourselves a national champion. The Windsor Stars, who have comfortably gone through this tournament with 4 straight wins. 7-3 over the Edmonton Cubs, 5-3 over the Dartmouth Mooseheads, 9-2 over the Elmwood Giants, and then 11-1 over the Elmwood Giants. So you put all that together, that's 20, 25, 32 runs scored in 4 games for Windsor, while giving up 3, 6, 8, 9. 32-9 in those 4 games. The scoreline for Windsor, including a 5-3 victory over Dartmouth, the team they will be facing in that gold medal game tonight at 7:30. Nathan Christuk up to bat to lead off the top of the fourth. Christuk singled back in the first to lead off the game, but he was then doubled off on a 6-4-3 double play. Takes the first pitch low, ball 1. Elmwood, as we've mentioned, has had a runner in the first inning, canceled out by a double play, had a runner in the second inning, canceled out by a double play. So Tanner McLean, who played ball at SUNY Cortland, now ahead in the count 2-1. The Cortland State Red Dragons. That pitch misses, and it's 3-1. Takes a strike, does Christuk, in the count 3-2. Fouled off, and so it'll remain a full count. McLean was on the as that one skied out to right field, and getting underneath it to make the catch is Josh Myers. I stand corrected. He didn't go to SUNY Cortland. He went to SUNY Sullivan, part of the 2022 SUNY Sullivan Generals roster. And I would assume he's going to be heading back for another year of school after his freshman year there. That pitch heads all the way down to the fence to Garrett Popplestone. Popplestone grounded into that double play in the first inning. That pitch misses low, ball 2-0. Grounder through the right side of the infield, and that will lead to a single for Popplestone. That brings up Steve Pritchard. He struck out back in the first. As McLean delivers, that one misses low, ball 1. According to the SUNY Sullivan website, McLean 6'3". The lefty delivers. Taken by Phillips over to second for 1 to first, not in time. So that's the first double play that the Islanders aren't able to convert, as Pritchard beats it out, have the put out 5-4 on the fielder's choice. So now 2 away with Pritchard at first base, and that'll bring up Chris Norquay. He is 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. That ball nearly gets away from Gallant, but Gallant able to stay with it and keep Pritchard at first base. Norquay ahead in the count now, 1-0. Another one that pops away from Gallant, and this time Pritchard's going to go, and he will get down to second base safely. Although looks to be a little shaken up after the slide. And the coach will come over and take a look. It looked like he kind of hit the bag awkwardly as he slid over it. He'll be all right, shaking it off. So Pritchard advances to second on the wild pitch. The count goes to 2-0. And there's a called strike as the breaking ball catches the inside corner on Norquay. Norquay, of course, as we've talked about, maybe the most important hit for the Giants all week, as he hit the solo home run that allowed them to get their only win in pool play, the 1-0 victory over Dartmouth, where the game was tied at zeros all the way till 2 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. And then Norquay with the solo home run, the walk-off homer, grounder to Cormier, who picks it up and fires across the field, or across the diamond, to Gallagher for the 3rd out. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. This game moving right along. with Charlottetown leading it by a score of 5-0. Due up in the bottom of the fourth, it will be McIsaac, McDougall, and Phillips. Again, the gold medal game, 7:30 tonight. The Dartmouth Mooseheads taking on the Windsor Stars, a rematch of a pool game as both teams came out of the same pool. Dartmouth won that first one by a score, Windsor won that first one by a score of 5-3. The closest game that Windsor has had in this tournament, winning their others by scores of 7-3, 9-2, and 11-1. So this promises to be a very close game once again tonight. Ryan McIsaac coming up to bat here to lead off the top of the bottom of the fourth. He walked in the first, singled and scored in the third, and gets an infield single here in the fourth to lead things off. And so that'll bring up Logan McDougall, the DH. He grounded into a fielder's choice but drove in a run on that play in the first, and then singled and scored as part of the 4-run third inning. And now comes up here in the fourth. The Islanders with 4 runs in the third, but they could have had more as they left the bases loaded. That one out to left field, getting over and tracking it down was Pritchard. And McIsaac, did Pritchard not catch that? I thought he got to it and made the catch, but apparently not. That'll bring up Mark Phillips. Okay, Pritchard dropped the ball. It was an error, my apologies. It looked like he was camped underneath it, so I started looking down to make a note and missed that. Here's a pop-up infield fly rule in effect on this one, so as Colton Boudreau gets underneath it for the first out. That'll bring up Grant Grady. He's 1 for 1, walked in the first, singled, drove in 2 runs, and then came around later to score himself as well. So 1 for 1 with a walk, a single, 2 RBIs, a stolen base, and a run scored. Quite the line for Grant Grady so far this afternoon. Swings, or held up on his swing, says the umpire at third base, so no swing. 1-0 the count to Grady. He'll send that one out to center field. Getting over to find it is Pritchard. He'll make the catch this time, and a strong throw into third to not allow McIsaac or McDougall to advance. That'll bring up Blake Gallagher. Gallagher grounded out in the first, singled, drove in a run, stole a base, and then scored in the third, part of that 4-run inning. Fouls this one off, and the count 0-1. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. Islanders already leading by 5. Looking to put up a couple more here in this fourth. Looping curveball in for a strike, 0-2. Friesen's got that really nice curveball that when the lefty delivers it, it starts way outside the plate and then comes back over and just crosses the corner. And that will do it as Gallagher strikes out for the third out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We've played 4 complete. We'll go to the 5th with the Islanders leading it by a score of 5-0 over the Elmwood Giants. Due up in the top of the 5th for Elmwood, it's Kyle Armstrong, Justin Voth, and then Brett Boudreau, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Elmwood lineup.
Some food for canteen, also beer tent back here. Get your fill for you.
A reminder that this is one of 4 national events taking place with Baseball Canada this weekend. While we talk about the Islanders, the Island is hosting one of those events, the 16U Girls Invitational event taking place over in Summerside, PEI. And as we take a quick look at the progress of that one, the gold medal game will be between British Columbia and Équipe Québec Espoir. Quebec sending 2 teams to that event. There's Équipe Québec, which is just Team Quebec, and then Équipe Québec Espoir is, I believe the Espoir team is like the quote-unquote second team, but they actually have had the better tournament to this point, making it all the way to the gold medal game, that again being played in Summerside, and the game scheduled for 6:30 tonight. The 13U Nationals in Windsor. The gold medal game will feature Ontario and Quebec 1 in that one. As here comes Kyle Armstrong, and we'll tell you about the other national championship event here in just a moment. As Armstrong skies that one into no fair territory down the first base line. But whichever side of the foul line it was on, Blake Gallagher was able to make the catch for the first out of the inning. That brings up Justin Voth. He grounded into a double play his first time up. And the Ray Carter Cup, which is the 15U Boys Championship taking place in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, the championship game there will feature Quebec and British Columbia. As Voth ahead in the count, 1-0 after the first pitch missed the zone from Tanner McLean. McLean able to find the strike zone with that one, and the count now 1-1. Elmwood have had struggles offensively in this tournament. They've only put up a total of 9 runs in the 5 games they played coming into this game. Their victories, a 1-0 win in pool play, and then winning their quarterfinal game 4-3 in 11 innings. Only once in this tournament have they scored 2 runs in the same inning. And that was in their 9-2 loss to Windsor in pool play. Swing and a miss. And strike 3 on Voth. That's just the second strikeout for McLean this afternoon. Brings up Brett Boudreau. He flew out to right his first time up. But if the pitching coaches from SUNY Sullivan are watching, your player who's going to be coming in for his sophomore season is pitching well here today. Just 2 hits and a walk so far through 4 2/3 innings. That one fouled back, and the count goes to 1-1. And the 2 of the 3 times he's had a runner on base, he's been able to entice a batter to hit into a double play. That pitch misses just a little bit outside. 2-1 the count. We've been talking about Elmwood's offensive struggles, though. Only one multi-run inning in 5 games so far. And as they currently trail by 5 in the 5th inning, they're going to need to put up at least 1 or 2 crooked numbers to give themselves a shot at the bronze medal here. 3-1 now the count on the Elmwood first baseman, Brett Boudreau. That will help as Boudreau able to get that one into left center. Coming over and cutting it off was Larkin. So the single for Boudreau puts a runner on first with 2 away, and that'll bring up Chris Moffat. He flew out to center his first time up. Moffat stepping in after the 3rd hit of the game for Elmwood, and that will quickly bring any sort of a rally to an end as the fly ball out to Larkin for the 3rd out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Charlottetown leading it by a score of 5-0. Due up in the bottom of the 5th for the Islanders, it will be Logan Gallant, Josh Myers, and Taylor Larkin. So yes, as we mentioned, 3 other Baseball Canada events happening over these past few days. In Saskatoon, Windsor, Ontario, Summerside, PEI, and here in the beautiful Cape Breton Regional Municipality. Anthony Friesen back out there on the mound for the Giants. Came in with 2 out in the 3rd. And it will be Logan Gallant leading off. Gallant 0 for 2, flew out in the 2nd, reached on an error in the 3rd. Takes the first pitch outside, ball 1 to the Charlottetown catcher. Swings and misses there, and the count now 1-1. Friesen shakes off the first sign, likes the second one. As well he should, as he gets Gallant to foul that off, and the count goes 1-2. Friesen, the left-hander, has a very relaxed style out there. He looks like he's just out, just throwing the ball around. Gets a swing and a miss. And that is the 3rd strikeout for Friesen since taking over. And that will bring up Josh Myers. Myers struck out in the 2nd inning, facing the starting pitcher Brian McIntyre, and then walked in the 3rd. And he was the last batter that McIntyre faced. Actually, no, are we getting a pinch hitter here? It appears we are. Pinch hitting for Josh Myers, it's Eugene Frazier. So Eugene Frazier now coming in to pinch hit for Myers. And he'll face Friesen for the first time. Takes the first pitch strike. And the count 0-1. Swings and misses over the top of that one, and it's quickly 0-2 on the right-hander. And swing and a miss, but the ball ends up in the dirt. And so Chris Duke will come up and apply the tag. That's the 4th strikeout for Friesen. 6th strikeout overall for Elmwood pitching. And we'll bring up Taylor Larkin. Larkin flew out, or popped out to short in the 2nd, and then singled and drove in a run in the 3rd. And launches that one out to left field. Going back and having it go over his head is Pritchard. On his horse is Larkin all the way into 2nd, sliding in safely for the double. Pritchard kept going back, and the ball just kept carrying up over his head. So Larkin with the big hit, the 2-out double, and gets quite a reaction from the Islander faithful sitting over on the third base side. That'll bring up Justin Cormier. He's 1 for 3. Cormier skies that one directly behind second base, and Popplestone able to make the catch. So the 2-out double by Larkin does not lead to any damage, as no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and the 1 runner left on base. We've played 5 complete. We'll go to the 6th with the Charlottetown Islanders leading the Elmwood Giants by a score of 5-0. We'll see Colton Boudreau, Nathan Christuk, and Garrett Popplestone in the 6th inning. And again, I just want to take a moment to quickly thank all of you out there, wherever you're watching from, somewhere over on the island or out in friendly Manitoba or anywhere else you're tuning in to watch from. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate having you along for the ride. Like I always say, if it wasn't for you guys watching, I wouldn't have a job to do. And I really do appreciate getting the opportunity to sit here, watch baseball, and talk about it. I tell you, it's not a... It is a hard job in one respect, but in another respect, getting to sit and watch baseball and talk about it could be a lot worse. As it looks like the Islanders making a couple of other changes. We'll try and see if we can square them all away. Now playing first base, it looks like it's Drew Grady at first base. So we'll hopefully get them all into the right spots in the batting order as well. So Drew Grady comes in to play first base. Eugene Frazier, who pinch hit in the last inning, stays in the game out in right field. Behind the plate, it is now Tyson McInnes. As the umpire going over all of these changes with the official scorer, I'm trying to just look around and see them myself. Mark Phillips is still at third. I think that's still Justin Cormier at short. Can't see the number on the second baseman right now. And this new defensive alignment is what Colton Boudreau has to look at here. And Boudreau swings and misses at the first pitch. So it's Grady at first. Trying to see the other numbers of other players. That one sent out into right field. Going over, getting under it is Frazier for the first out of the inning. So his first defensive touch of the ball in this bronze medal game, and it is a catch for Fraser. That'll bring us back around to the top of the order. Nathan Christuk, who singled in the first, flew out in the fourth. So 26 is at second base, so, or no. There's a called strike on Christuk, and the count goes to 1-1. Sorry, I'm still trying to identify all the defensive changes. That one doesn't miss by much, and the count goes to 2-1, or 2-2, excuse me. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that one sent out to center field, and it will drop in front of Arsenault, who's now out there for taking over for Larkin. So Johnny Arsenault now the center fielder. And after that single, Garrett Popplestone comes up. He grounded into a double play and singled, so he's 1 for 2. Stolen base for Christuk. So Grady still in left. Johnny Arsenault now in center. And it's Eugene Fraser out in right. Mark Phillips still at third. Justin Cormier still at short. It is Tyson McInnes now at second base, not catching. The new so Tyson McInnes goes up there into that spot. Sorry, trying to get all these. Tyson McInnes goes into the second spot in the order. And the new catcher is Duncan Pickett's 36, not 26. That's where my mistake went. So Duncan Pickett goes to play catcher. Drew Grady is the new first baseman. And the new second baseman, McInnes, gets the ball over to first to Drew Grady for the second out of the inning. Christuk gets over to third. That'll bring up a pinch hitter as Garrett Graham comes in to pinch hit for Steve Pritchard. So Tanner McLean pitching to Graham. Graham fouls the first pitch off, and the count 0-1. And it looks like Norquay is still on deck, so won't be further changes there at the moment, at least. And a called strike 2. 0-2 now the count. Top of the sixth inning. Islanders leading at 5-0. And Graham not able to hold up. He goes around, and that's the third strikeout for McLean. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We'll head to the bottom of 6. And it is the Charlottetown Islanders leading the Elmwood Giants by a score of 5-0. Due up in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be the new second baseman Tyson McInnes, the DH Logan McDougall, and third baseman Mark Phillips. So Taylor McLean. Okay, so 36, 26, 11, 9, 2 all come in. And after Graham pinch hit for Pritchard, it looks like Graham stays in the game in left field. He does. And it's still Anthony Friesen out there pinching for Elmwood. Boudreau still at first base. Third base still looks like Voth. Yes, it is. Sometimes it's challenging keeping track of all of the defensive changes if a bunch all happen at once. Trying to get a look at everybody's numbers, make sure that it's still the same guys in the same spots. And it certainly does look to be the case. So, all right. Leading off, it is Tyson McInnes for his first at-bat of the game. And just looking at the other game sheets from the games that I've done here at this field, I think this is the first appearance we're seeing of McInnes on this field. And that is indeed the case. So I know that the Islanders did play at least one of their games over at the other diamond. Okay. Yes, they played their game against BC over at the other field. And they also played their game against St. John's over at the other field. So this may not be McInnes' first plate appearance of the tournament, but it is his first plate appearance here at Susan McEachern Memorial Ball Field. Grounder down to third, gathered in by Voth. Across to Brett Boudreau for the first out of the inning. So one up, one down. And that will bring up the DH, Logan McDougall. McDougall is 1 for 3, but he's actually been on base all 3 times. Reached by a fielder's choice, singled and came around to score, and then reached on an error. Fouls that one back, and the count 0-1. So, yes, has been on base every time, but is only 1 for 3 on the day with a run scored. Sends that one out towards right field, sliding and making the catch is Norquay. A nice sliding catch out there in right field. And that is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Mark Phillips. As we head to the bottom, or as we continue here in the bottom of inning number 6. There's a chopper to third, gathered up by Voth. He'll set and throw. And a quick 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the 7th. The Elmwood Giants need to score 5 to extend this game. Otherwise, the Charlottetown Islanders are just 3 outs away from a bronze medal victory. It's going to be Chris Norquay, Kyle Armstrong, and Justin Voth who will be trying to keep this game, keep this tournament going a little bit longer for Elmwood. As and a quick look around, Drew Grady at first, Tyson McInnes at second, Justin Cormier still at third, Mark Phillips at third, and Cormier at short. And the outfield, Frazier's out in right, Arsenault in center, and still Grant Grady out there in right. Yes. No. Grant Grady moved to center. Now, Nick McPhail now playing left field. So we'll get that change put into our book as well. McPhail comes into play left. And pinch hitter for Chris Norquay. And the first pitch to that pinch hitter goes outside, ball one. Didn't catch the announcement. It's Riley Traeger who sends it right back off of the leg of McLean all the way out into left field. So Riley Traeger with the single. But the bigger concern right now is the lower leg of Tanner McLean. He quickly shakes everything off, says, no, I'm good, I'm ready to roll. So Riley Traeger pinch hits, gets a single. That'll bring up Kyle Armstrong. Armstrong 0 for 1, walked back in the second, popped out in the fifth. 5-8-0 for the Islanders, 0-4-2 for the Giants. First pitch to Armstrong misses, and it's 1-0. Fouled off, and the count goes to 1-1. A reminder, the championship game coming up about 2 hours from now. 7:30, the scheduled start time for that one. Grounder to second, it's booted there. And somehow they still get the out as Tyson McInnes ended up booting the ball to Cormier. And that's just the kind of day that Elmwood has been having, where just no bounces going their way. The out is technically a 4-6 on a fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Justin Voth. And Voth will send that one out into center, putting runners at first and second with one out. And brings up Brett Boudreau. Boudreau, 1 for 2, singled in the fifth, flew out in the third. And grounder knocked down by the third baseman Phillips. He holds on to the ball, and he'll just go over and touch third. And so the force play at third retires Armstrong. Boudreau reaches on a fielder's choice, 5 unassisted. That's 2 outs. And that will bring up Chris Moffett. He's 0 for 2, as the Islanders are now 1 out away from claiming the bronze medal here at the 2022 Men's National Championship. One hop to McInnes, throw over to Grady, and the Islanders are bronze medalists. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base, or 2 runners left on base. The final score: Charlottetown 5, Elmwood 0. Elmwood finishes the national championship tournament in 4th place. Certainly a lot to be proud of there. And the Charlottetown Islanders are bronze medalists. And we believe the medal presentation for the bronze medals will be taking place right away. We're not 100% sure about that, though. So if the medal presentations do take place, we will stick around for that. If not, actually the indication is yes, the medals will be presented momentarily, so we'll stick around for that. And again to Elmwood, a great tournament for them. And a 4th place finish in a national championship tournament. A lot to be proud of there for the Islanders, as mentioned, the bronze medal. And we will stick around for So Logan Gallant wins player of the game, and this is just a random draw that they've been doing each game to determine a player of the game. And now we are going to have the presentation of the bronze medals. So we'll stick with you for that. I'll turn off my mic, or I'll leave my mic operating so that it can pick up the in-house PA announcer. I'll stop talking now.
Number 15, the pitcher, Colby Wild. Number 17, pitcher, Jacob Back. Number 18, pitcher, Justin Cormier. Number 20, outfielder, Josh Myers. Number 22, second baseman, Ryan McIsaac. Number 3, pitcher, number 23, pitcher, Jay Johnson. Number 26, third baseman, Tyson McGinnis. Number 29, third baseman, Mark Phillips. Number 36, the catcher, Duncan Pickett. Number 40, the shortstop, Logan McDougall. Number 42, outfielder, Nick McPhail. Number 52, pitcher, Brody McDonald. Number 96, pitcher, Karen McLean.
But the back door.
And congratulations to the half boys as well. To the Charlton Islanders. Come get your medals, guys. Come get your award.
So there you have it, the Charlottetown Islanders, the 2022 Baseball Canada Men's National bronze medalists with a 5-0 victory over Elmwood. Our gold medal game coming up in a little under 2 hours. So a bit of a break, and then at 7:30 it will be the Dartmouth Mooseheads versus the Windsor Stars to determine a national champion. Until then, on behalf of Dixon Cho and Jeff Porter, my two awesome producers, as well as my wonderful camera person Karen, this is Michael Petter saying may your pitches hit the corners and may your liners clear the fence. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, but we'll be back with you in just a couple hours.